What's up, everybody? My name is Tommie Bennett, and today we're gonna get super nerdy about backside spins on a snowboard. So my whole goal is to give you the fundamental movements and ideas behind spinning backside so that you can apply those to backside 3, backside 5, backside 7, and beyond. So we're gonna dive into a bunch of breakdowns and understanding the mechanics and the moves. If you're an advanced snowboarder, you can apply these techniques to those bigger and bigger tricks. But if you're just starting to learn how to spin, these fundamentals are gonna carry with you for the rest of your snowboarding career. So make sure you stay tuned. At any point you're digging the content, give it a thumbs up. Also, I do a live stream every single Tuesday at 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So if you have any questions about this video or any questions in general, definitely come hang out with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump to a different screen. We're going to watch a couple different clips, and then we're going to break them down in super nerdy. So make sure you stay tuned. Awesome, guys. Let's go. I'm really excited about this. Alright guys, so let's talk about the fundamental moves of doing a backside 360, and this is how I coach my athletes and the people that I work with. So essentially, I like to distinguish the body into two parts. You got your upper body, which really stems from your shoulder and your spine. That is going to be in charge of generating the rotational momentum, really giving you the spin. And then your lower extremity is going to be in charge of getting you in the air. Now, in this specific example here, there is no jump. I'm not moving. So all of that has to come from my body, including the rotation and the amplitude. So it's going to be a very good video for us to break down, because this is the pure form of a backside 360. In a couple other clips, we will be diving into how to do this off of a catwalk, how to do this off of a jump, and beyond. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was notice that I am opening up my lead shoulder. So my lead shoulder is open towards the heel side, and it's just about stacked to the outside of my binding. I personally like to wind up about the same amount every single time, whether it's a 1, 3, 5, or 7. As soon as I go beyond 7, I'm going to have to do a couple different things. But for the most part, I want to keep the trick as consistent as possible. Now, when I want to do a 3, a 5, or a 7, all I got to change is the intensity of how I throw the trick, not necessarily making it a different trick. I'm trying to keep it as consistent as possible. So I open my lead shoulder, and then I'm going to take my lead shoulder and I'm going to drive it in the backside direction. And you're also going to notice that I will open my lead shoulder and I'm going to start to sink down, and then I'm going to explode with my lower extremity while throwing my shoulder simultaneously. And that's why having the upper body doing something different than the lower body, so they can be good at what they're good at. Now, as we take a step further, so I am winding up, I'm sinking down, and as I sink down, I'm going to start to go in the opposite direction. I'm throwing this trick. Now notice that both of my knees are bent about the same amount. This is extremely important for you guys. If you have one leg that is bent more than the other and you explode, it's gonna throw your balance off. So make sure you got both feet at the same time. And then I'm going to explode. I'm jumping in the air as hard as possible with both of my knees at the same time. And then look at this shoulder right here. The shoulder is driving in the backside direction. Now, the next thing you're going to notice is that my eyes are up. I'm not looking at the ground, guys. This is extremely important. If you're doing a 3, 5, 7, 9, whatever you're doing, your eyes should be looking over your lead shoulder at the beginning and throughout most of the trick. There's an exception we'll talk about here in a little bit, but for the most part, you're keeping your eyes up and looking where you're going. Okay, so now look at this. My board is only spun a 90-degree rotation, but look, my eyes are able to spot the landing really quick, right? Why this is important as you go off of a big jump or a small jump, doesn't matter what it is. As you're able to spot the landing, that gives you information on what to do next. Oh, I'm under rotated. That means I'm going to have to continue to drive that trick really hard. What if I'm going super big and I can slow the trick down? The more information you have when it comes to spotting the landing, the more you're going to be able to adjust and adapt to the situation. Like I said, my eyes are looking, and then I'm bringing my knees up and I'm completing the rotation. Now you will see that I'm going to be open with a lead shoulder. So this is called a counter rotation position. Now I do this simply because as I get to 180, I feel like I need to really scissor my legs and get the board around. So I accelerate my lower body and I allow my upper body to be a little bit laggy or a little bit delayed. And then I land on my toe side edge. Also, when you're going off of a big jump, sometimes you need to open up your lead shoulder to slow the rotation down, which we'll talk about here in a second. We'll be slowing the rotation down so that we can get our board to land straight down the hill. The goal is to do 360 degrees of rotation, get your board to go straight down the hill and land with your feet stacked or your body in a position that allows you to land easier. I like to rotate all the way to my toes to know that I fully rotated the trick. Boom. And then I get there and I land, stand back up. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about how to translate this into a jump, but there's one step we need to understand before actually taking a backside 360 to a jump. So let's dive into that. So the next thing we gotta do is we gotta learn how to carve our snowboard. I do have another video about carving snowboard that breaks it super nerdy and break it down, but I wanted to be talking about carving in relation to doing spins. So essentially what a carve turn is the tail of your snowboard follows the exact path of your nose and it creates a slice in the snow. Why this is relevant to us hitting jumps and spinning is you're able to change direction while either maintaining or minimizing speed loss. So we can go like fast off of a jump, right? So you're gonna use this carve turn going in between jumps so you can get set up for it, as well as you're taking off, you can grip the snow because you're slicing the snow. You're gonna get a lot of torque from the snow and your board, but you're also gonna be able to maximize your speed, your distance, and trajectory down the hill so you're able to clear the feature. So let's talk about carving a little bit, and then we're gonna combine the spin, the carve together. All right, guys, so you just saw me doing a bunch of carve turns. Now let's break it down on a couple skills that we need to know within our carve turn that's gonna make us more awesome at spinning. So the first thing is we're gonna talk about minimizing our drifting or understanding our trajectory when it comes to doing a spin. So we're gonna play this video just a little bit forward. Now let's say that the jump is right about here, just for an example. Now if I were to leave the ground right now, granted, I'm in the beginning of my turn, my trajectory would actually let me go more left across the mountain, more towards these trees, right? Well, ideally, I want to be able to land more straight down the hill over here. So if I time this right about here and I throw my 360, look how everything's pointed down the hill. I can go straight down. But if I go too late, where is my trajectory taking me now? Notice that my trajectory is taking me over towards the right. So in this carve mark just here, I want to be able to time my carve so that I'm taking off the jump while I'm in the center of the turn, and so that my nose and all my momentum is going straight down the hill. In addition to that, what you can do is practice opening your lead shoulder while you're doing a toe side turn so you can start to understand how far your shoulder can go open while maintaining that carve and that edge slicing through the snow. And then you can also, instead of opening the shoulder, close the shoulder and feel what that position is like. The more comfortable you're able to ride open and then close, open and close, the more comfortable you're going to be when it comes to actually applying this to a catwalk, to a jump, to anything like that, because you're comfortable with these body positions. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to apply what we just learned about the backside 360 in terms of our shoulders and our lower body, and combine them with the carving and the mechanics and the timing of that. So we're going to jump into another screen, watch the clip, and then break it down. Cool. So with this video, I really like how this demonstrates such similar body positions as the first clip that we broke down. It's freaking awesome. So what I did here is I started from up over here on the chairlift. I knew I needed to go fast because I wanted to go big. So I took as much speed as I could, and then I did a nice heel side turn going into a toe side turn. And then I'm going to take this nice line off of the catwalk, but you're going to notice that I am turning here, and then I straighten out my board and try to maximize my trajectory to going straight down the line so that I can go as big as possible. If I kept that turn direction or that turn shape continuing, then I could have landed over here in the moguls or not gone as big or bend sideways and landed super funky. So it was really, really cool to be able to grab this clip simply. So you're going to notice here that I am in a very inclinated position, simply meaning that I'm leaning over. Well, I have to do this so that I can maintain a carve and not be in a compromised position. Now, as I get closer and closer to the catwalk, you're going to notice that my lead shoulder will open about the same amount as we talked about earlier, and then I have my knees bent and my eyes are looking in the direction I'm traveling. And then what would you say, about 2 board lengths prior to the lip of the catwalk, I am beginning to throw my shoulder and extend my knees. So you're gonna see that very similar pop position and shoulders thrown, just like the first clip. As we continue to throw, look what I'm doing. My eyes are looking up and trying to spot the landing as soon as possible. My board's almost at 90 degrees and I'm already seeing the landing. I'm probably at like 180 degrees here, seeing the landing, but I'm able to spot and figure out exactly what's going on. I'm like 2 board lengths from the lip, and I've already done a 180, and I'm gonna go big, and I need to slow this down. So what I do is I start to open my lead shoulder so that it slows the rotation down just a little bit. I do wave my arms because I was slightly out of balance, but I open that lead shoulder just a little bit. I keep opening it more as we get closer to the landing, and then I land back in that stacked position. Now, this was a big impact. I did land super deep, and I absorbed in that stacked position and then immediately rode away. So that's a little bit about like why carving is extremely important. So you want to be able to lock in the edge, lock in the snow, be able to throw, but the mechanics from the first clip apply here. Alrighty guys, so now we're going to take this to a jump. So let's watch the clip and then we'll break it down. So within this clip, there is a couple things that are different. You're gonna notice how hard I do not throw the trick. You're also gonna notice that I bring my knees up and I actually grab my snowboard. I feel like because I had so much time and so much control that I was able to grab my snowboard, but that's also the goal when you're spinning. For the most part, I like to grab my board, specifically in the park. When I'm outside of the park, sometimes I don't grab the snowboard because I like the feeling of just floating and just like being one in the air. It's pretty crazy, but in the park, it's a lot more traditionally expected that you're supposed to grab your snowboard, show control, and really own it. So that's just kind of my thoughts on that. Now, you're gonna notice that this is the drop-in way back here. I did my carve turns, allowing me to set myself up, and then I'm gonna take off of the jump like this. As I get closer, you're gonna notice this position again. I am opening my lead shoulder, I'm winding up for the jump, I'm gonna start bending my knees, but it's kind of hard to tell in this specific example, and then I'm gonna extend. Notice I'm extending both feet at the same time, and my shoulder is driving. Trying to spot the landing again, but you're gonna notice that I am off axis a little bit more than the other ones. I did this for style reasons, right? I wanted to be able to show a little bit of flair, and I did that by simply dropping my shoulder down towards the grab intentionally. And then as soon as I get to here, ooh, look at that. My eyes are actually spotting the landing again. Even though I'm slightly tilted, even though I'm grabbing my snowboard, my eyes are looking for the landing. At this point, about 90 degrees into the rotation, I know that I pretty much nailed this. So as I rotate, I have the grab looking really good, grabbing, opening up my body, so I'm extending my spine or raising my spine. I'm also extending my legs down. When you extend like that, essentially you're able to control the rotational momentum, so you're slowing it down. You got dudes that are spinning like 1080s and stuff and they stop on a dime. Well, this is part of it, being able to spot the landing, know exactly where you are, extend your body and lengthen your body, and that naturally is going to slow your momentum down, and then you can put your landing gear down, which the landing gears is referring to your knees right here, and then be able to land and ride away. So when it comes to your landing position, I like to land back on my toe side edge because I can essentially dig that edge in the snow, gain grip on the snow because I'm going to carve, but also that carve is naturally going to send my momentum down the run instead of pivoting or sliding out. So that's a big common challenge that we're going to face as you create all this rotation. You're spinning around. You got to be able to stop that rotation. So I like to, again, be able to land on my toe side edge in addition to opening that shoulder so I can slow it down. But the combination of these moves allow me to be in this position here where I'm shoulders, hips, and knees are stacked on top of the board. I am on my toe side edge, but notice that I ride away. I ride straight down the mountain into a heel side turn so I can set myself up for another trick, whatever I decide to do. But being able to land in a ready position for the next thing is extremely important, especially if there's somebody crashed that you didn't know. There's a log in the run or a small child or whatever it is. You can land in a strong, stacked, and ready position for the next thing. It's going to help you increase your chances of landing, especially if any of you cats are trying to compete. If you can land in a ready position, that means you can handle the bumps. That means you have more time to process for the next trick. You can get that flow. If you're the cats who's not competing, but you're filming and you want to land more tricks and put a line together, dude, that you got to be able to land in a ready and strong position for the next feature. So far, what we've talked about is the spine and the shoulders are in charge of creating that rotational momentum. That's what's going to give you the spin around. After that, our lower extremity is in charge of the extension or the pop. Now, obviously, the intensity of that pop changes based on the terrain that's underneath us. If we're not moving and we got to generate all that force ourselves, that is going to be different than going into an 80-foot jump with a lot of speed, and the jump is going to be doing a lot of the work. So the more experience you have with different features, different speeds, you're going to be able to really judge how hard do I throw this trick, as well as how much do I pop or extend off the lip. And then as a combination of both our upper body and lower body, we may need to be tilting forward, or we may need to just be in a stacked position, push our knees over, and carve our snowboard. So there are different tasks that our body has to do. Now, the next thing I wanted to break down for you guys is how do we take those same principles into a bigger trick. Now, you may not be ready for these bigger tricks, but start understanding why the fundamentals are so important for tricks down the road. So as always, we're going to watch the clip and then break it down. Alrighty guys, so right there we do have a backside 720. Yes, you may be wondering, Tommie, why did you skip 540? So I wanted to demonstrate a little bit more of a big toss and show the similarities to a 360. Plus the 720 is essentially a 360 and another 360 together. So I thought it was a little bit more relevant. And subscribe to the channel because I will be doing backside breakdowns. Like, I'm going to do a whole video on a backside 5 and how to become awesome at backside 540s. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel to see that. Now, what we have here is a solid backside 720, and you're going to notice so many similarities between the 360 and the 720. Dude, I'm mobbing into this jump. I'm trying to go fast. I'm trying to like get as much speed as I can so that I can go far and clear the jump and have enough time to get the full rotation around. I am now on my heel side edge, making that setup turn, and then I go into the actual toe side turn, and then my trajectory, as much as I could during this example, is I'm trying to get my trajectory to go straight off. I'm not perfect, I know that, but dang, am I pretty close. I'm off by a little bit. I'm inclinating like we saw off the catwalk. I am driving off the toes, and I got my shoulders already wound up. Like I wound up my shoulders right here. From when we transition from the heel side edge into the toes is when I like to wind up my trick. I wind up and I throw, and boom, right at 90 degrees. I don't quite see the knuckle or spot the landing, but look where my body position is. My eyes are looking for it. Within the next 50 to 180 degrees, I will be able to spot the landing as well as be able to grab my tail of the snowboard. You know, we got to grab our snowboard, make it look cool. So let's see how soon I'm able to spot the landing. Oh, look right there. My board is down to 180. I haven't grabbed my snowboard yet, but I know exactly where I am in relation to my speed, time and space, distance, rotation. I'm aware. I have that control and that where within 180 degrees. After that, I'm able to grab my snowboard. I see that I've already completed this, and at this point, I am now reinitiating that backside 360. What did we do on the backside 360? Our chest was tall, we wound up, and we looked But here, I don't necessarily wind up again, but I will look where I'm going. So I was spotting the landing at the 360, and then I'm going to go, boom. I'm going to drive my head around to do the 360 again. Like I said, doing a backside 360 is combining two of them together. And this is a great example because now look what I'm doing. Looking over the shoulder. Yes, this is so sick because I'm not even at 90 degrees yet, but I'm starting to spot my landing for the second time. I literally am spotting my landing for the second time, and then I can determine, do I need to hold onto this grab for a month longer to make sure I'm getting around? Have I rotated too much and I need to extend and slow the rotation down? That's what I'm determining exactly at this point. For here, I feel like I dialed the rotation pretty good, so I don't really have to do much except for enjoy the ride. I do let go of the grab right about here. I allow my lead shoulder to open just a little bit to slow the rotation down. And then as soon as I land, look what I do. Toe side edge and body stacked. It's a big impact, but I was able to control that, get on my toe side edge, make a nice little heel side turn, and ride away. I hope you guys can see that a backside 360 is literally going to help you with a backside 720 and a 1080 and a 900, all these crazy other spins, because the mechanics are so similar. You got to be able to keep your chest tall, wind up, throw, look where you're going, continue that rotation, and then for the 7, you're continuing that rotation for another 360, and then how you stop the momentum is the same as a 3. It's just more intense. It's twice as much. I'm throwing it super hard. It's just twice as much. That was a sick breakdown, and if I missed anything, I would love for you guys to let me know in the comments below. And do you like these nerdy breakdowns? Do you like these fundamental skill breakdowns? Definitely let me know, because this channel is dedicated to making you an awesome snowboarder, and the more information you're able to give me about these videos, the more I can make awesome content. So on that note, guys, we're going to end that there. Thank you so much for joining along. So I want you guys to keep progressing and keep killing it. We out.